What's up, YouTube? This is PN Collector here. Just kind of wanted to get you guys the results, what happened from our LA regionals. I know that I haven't really done a lot of videos, guys, in a while. That's mainly the reason is because I haven't really thought the game has changed much. I mean, right now the only 3-tier decks right now are Wind Up and Sectors and Dino Rabbit. It's kind of hard to be a little bit innovative right now, especially since like everything in the metagame is kind of forcing itself going towards Exceeds, and the card pool that we have right now isn't exactly too great. I mean, even during the regionals, it pretty much played whatever the meta was. It's pretty much all of the decks actually. Played 2 Insectors, 2 Wind-Ups, a anti-meta kind of Chaos E-Hero deck. That's the only loss I had for that day. I ended up going 8-1. And of course I top 4'd and got like the mat and the binder and stuff, so. But most of the matches were pretty much like pretty much all meta, whether it be from Insectors, Wind-Ups, even Dino Rabbit, pretty much everything's standard. I mean, that's kind of sad to say right now about the game, but for the most part though, it's pretty much what you have to deal with right now. But I mean, the good thing about this though is that the game is very linear and to the point. There's not too much exaggeration and people teching different things and trying new things out, because the game makes it easier to side for and plan for, especially. For the event, I went going with Dino Rabbit. Wasn't really like wanting to play it, but I have never played it in a tournament before, and I figured it was, since I had the cards and needed to put them to some kind of use, I really wanted to play it. So originally I kind of wanted to play in Sectors, but I hadn't actually had a side deck built for it yet. Unlike Rabbit's, you know, like I said, very easy to side for, and your sideboard's really good to develop. Actually, I was really impressed with the whole deck as itself, and all my matchups are pretty good. But let me go ahead and get onto the deck list, and then I'll get further into explanation, guys. Alright, first off, we start off with 3 Rescue Rabbit, 3 Sabersaurus, 3 Cabazuls, 3 Jirac-Waiba, 1 Sangan, 3 Torguide, 3 Maxi, 1 Effect Veiler, 1 Gorse. Spells are triple Mystical Space Typhoon, Pot of Avarice, Mind Control, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Book of Moon, Heavy Storm, and double Forbidden Lance. We have the traps: Mirror Force, 1 Starlight Road, Solemn Judgment, double Warning, double Torrential Tribute, and double Fiendish Chain. Okay. For the main deck overall, it's pretty much, right now the standard build has been shifted to the guy that won the last YCS in Lesbig. He pretty much was the Dino Rabbit deck. In my opinion, this is probably the best and most suitable version of it. I've tried versions with double Maxi, double Veiler. I just don't feel that Veiler is that potent, especially since you really only figure you're going to use it against Wind-Up or Insector, but with Wind-Up, they have the Wind-Up Rabbit, so the Veiler doesn't shine as much, and the Maxi becomes extremely necessary, especially if you're going to be playing mirror matches for most part of the day. It's going to be really good. Some people question the utility of Guaiba, but I really feel that's probably one of the few cards that needs to be in the deck. If you play the Dino Rabbit well, which is pretty much you have to be a pace deck, you have to keep a momentum going, and if you draw a banned hand, you kind of have to learn to work off of it, because I mean you're going to draw vanilla-type monsters and not going to be able to do much with it. But see, these guys, Sabersaurus and Cabazuls, they're really good cards to bait out other cards, just for the fact that they're 19, but what makes them really strong and how the damage that they deal is important is because they don't get affected by Fiendish Chain. I've seen people running 2 to 3 Fiendish Chains in most of their main decks that I played, and because I was able to write a Sabersaurus or Cabazuls to deal enough damage under 4,000, it was pretty much able to push them so that way they're warnings, and that became less useful when the Rabbits and the Tour Guides hit the board, especially even the Guaibas. It just instant pushes, really good. Gores. Some people don't like Gores right now, but I feel right now in the game it's really needed. It's the fact that it's a bigger body. If they do happen to have a Dolkalagi, you're baiting out more material from them. And it just helps to push out other cards, especially against, like, people fear with Insectors that they're just going to swarm the board, and then after you drop your Gores, they're just going to pop it for more free targets. But most of the time, if you can outpace an Insector build by preventing them from having multiple monsters, you should be fine. Triple Space really worked out great. Very heavy backfield meta, kind of expected it to be. Really does make a huge difference. Another thing to note too was a main deck Mind Control. Some people don't prefer this. Some people would rather have it like a Grand Mole, but the Mind Control actually proved to be very useful. You can take opposing Utopias and turn them into Utopia Rays, which is really helpful. And not to mention, too, it helps bait out other cards. It gets things out of your way, helps you to exceed and take advantage of a lot of your opponent's plays, especially if they have no follow-up after it. And Lance, I gotta admit, is pretty much the MVP of the deck. I think slowly the reason why this deck does so well is because of Lance. It's able to get out of so many combos and push for so many games with this card. And it's probably one of the reasons why that this deck, like I said, really does this well, because in conjunction with Goiba, protecting an Exceed monster, it really does add a lot more strategy into it, and most people think this deck doesn't have strategy. I can pretty much disagree after playing with the whole regionals that the deck was really awesome. I mean, I can't feel that none of these cards main deck did anything, because all of them actually were very crucial for the deck, pretty much for me even getting up there in top 4. On to the extra deck. 1 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, 1 Ally of Justice Catastor, 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Giga Brilliant, 1 Zenmains, 1 Lavier, 1 Leviathan Dragon, 1 Acid Golem Destruction, 1 Wind Up Zenmeister, 2 Evil Zardoka, 2 Evil Zorlakia, Utopia, and 1 Utopia Ray. Now, to note about the extra deck, I pretty much can say that I used every card minus Catastor, really. I really only had them in there for the Synchros mainly. Stardust for the Starlight Road. Catastor was for if I had a random level 4 out and I happen to have a Veiler and I could Synchro into it just to get over something I was afraid of. But for the most part, I never needed it. I guess that's a good thing. It's good to know the deck has a free extra spot if I need it to be. Was considering Mistworm, but I didn't like the idea of giving up 3 monsters just to make it. And I know I can reborn their monster, the possibilities, but it didn't really occur to me to be that necessary. And compared to Trishula, which it needs to be again, but of course it's banned, it doesn't prove as much of a point to run Mistworm, really. So I was kind of fine with the choices, and again, everything did really well. One thing I need to note, Acid Golem of Destruction. I won 3 games because of him. And it's not because I had him, it's because my opponents had it. One thing to note, guys, if he does not have material, you cannot declare an attack. Which means, from now on, you can't special summon, you can't declare an attack with Golem, and you're going to take 2,000 every standby phase. Most people, when I say activate during their standby phase, pretty much freaked out and always attach the material. That's completely wrong, and it's going to cost you the game if you really don't know what the whole card does. And 3 people at the event lost because of this. 1 Wind-Up, 1 Insector, and a Dino Rabbit. All made this, and all lost because of it. Just let them burn themselves out to death, because most people don't realize if he has no materials, you can't attack. And every single player that brought it out on that did not read that whole card text and pretty much lost the game. So guys, please read the cards. It's actually really crucial to make a difference. I myself never even made it. I just was glad at the fact that it was there, and if I needed to, I could. But be aware of those side effects of the card. The card's really good, but you have to be cautious of the downside to it too. So it's interesting though. Like I said, really good card, Golem, but you got to be wary of it. Zenmeister. I didn't use it all day into my round 9 when I didn't want to waste a Utopia, and I made this guy. And because of him, I won a push over a Logia, which was really helpful too, because I baited out and then was able to exceed into this and to smack over a Logia because I didn't want to waste the 1 Utopia I had. Now, in that same game, my opponent brought me down to 300, was able to bring out another Logia, had a set back row, and I had 2 set cards at the time, and in his end phase, I Book-a-Mooned his Logia. He decided to detach materials to prevent it. I drew. I had about 2 cards left in hand. I heavy stormed his card, wiped it off the board, which I had face down. Then I normal summoned a Sabersaurus and Monster Reborn to Cabazul's. My opponent chained Max C, drew a card because he only had 2 at the time, and from this point on I had to capitalize in this. So I exceeded the monsters together into Utopia, and then on top of that I made a Utopia Ray. And my opponent was at 3,200 life points, and because Utopia Ray was in the game, I was able to win. And I did that 3 games out of various matches that I had. Twice were in the Dino Rabbit, and once was against an anti-meta, I would say, Banish deck, because it had Cyber Valleys and things like that. And this card, Utopia Ray, is pretty much my MVP of the whole weekend. I was really surprised at the fact that I was able to get its effect off multiple times, and even then, if your opponent max sees, the only out they have to this card after a no back row field is going to be Valor. And again, this Utopia Ray is just amazing. I'm so glad that card was out, because if I hadn't mained it at all, there would have been no way I had a win condition with this deck. So, major props to this card. Like I said, don't underestimate it. Everyone needs to play it. If you mind control Theros and then you can Utopia Ray on top, it's just perfect. So don't underestimate this, guys. On to my side deck. I made one Cyber Dragon. Usually most people run two, but I decided not to because the only matchup we really strongly use it against is Wind Up, and even I feel that it's not as great anymore because a lot of the builds now are trying to go into like a stun aspect, which is pretty much everything in the format. Maybe in sectors not as much, but again, Cyber I don't really feel as potent. I didn't want to play none because I felt like I still could use it, so I kept the one in and just left it like that. Two Thunder King Ryos. I still have mixed feelings about this card. The only matchup I ever used it against was really Wind Up, or if I was going first with Rabbit and game 2, I would put them in. But other than that, I really didn't use them. Double Snowman Eater. This guy's really good against the mirror matchup, especially since I played 3 of them. Snowman eats away of all those problems. One of the tech that I like was Arcana Force Zero the Fool against mirror and some of the stuns and stuff like that. This card, the reason why I ran it over Reaper is because I didn't want it to get Mind Control and get destroyed. I didn't want it to get Lance and get destroyed. And the only thing they would have to do was waste a chain to attack. So in the end, I felt like he was more potent than Reaper. And the fact that if you do happen to reborn him and you get a Tails effect, he's pretty much untargetable and cannot be destroyed by battle. So your opponent has to torrential, wasting, again, 2 or more cards just to get over it. Whereas with Reaper, most of the time they only need to waste 1 and then go at him. And I gotta admit though, this card was really good. It did a lot of outstanding plays, and I like the fact that your opponent can't really exceed with it because he's level 1. So again, a great card. I have no problem with this card at all. It's really actually against all the Dino Rabbits, they were pretty pissed off that I had it. Most of them were expecting like Reaper and couldn't do anything about it because I had another opponent torrential, and then I chained Lance to it, and it was pretty much, it gave me 7 more cards pretty much for the rest of the duel, and I came back because of it. Pretty funny. One Smashing Ground, mostly against Mirror Match and some of the anti-metas. I have the Thunder King. That's all it's really used for. Double Deep Prison for pretty much the Mirror and other anti-metas, TG decks. Double Decree to help deal with all of your anti-meta problems. I actually usually only cited 1. I never really cited 2 against wind-up decks because it's just the tech of. So if you need to get rid of a lot of the backfield or if you want to make a push, that's what it guarantees. My MVP for Insectors, 3 of these. Hands down, completely shuts them off. This was the only card that I needed to side deck against them, because all you have to do is just take out 3 of your max Cs and put those 3 things in, and you're fine. It's such a great card. They can use Hornet to pop, and it helps you maintain momentum against your opponent, and it's just really, really well designed of a card for this deck, especially because none of the cards really, other than Sangan, possibly Reborn and Avarice, you rely on, but you also have to put into effect too, macro won't always be on the field forever. There's triple MSTs, there's Heavy Storm, your opponent's likely citing Royal Decree as well, Trap Stun, there's Rykos, and having multiples is fine. And Guaiba and them, they all get their effects if they hit a monster, so it's perfect. Again, overall with this deck, I went 8-1. I lost only once to an anti-meta Chaos Hero thing that had Tour Guides and Thunder Kings, and he mained triple Super Poly, and for the worst aspect of this deck is that all these guys are fire, so a Nova Master is not fun, especially since they're going to draw a card every time you try to set a monster, and they gain so much advantage because of that. It's actually, that's the first time I've ever seen Super Poly actually be good in the main if they hit a fire type. But nonetheless, though, it's not bad, guys. I mean, the deck is really good, and it does what it does. I mean, some people don't even run the main Starlight Road, but people that don't expect it, that's how you're going to win. All honesty, like, I brought out starters most of the time from it, and I gotta believe hands down is probably one of my best and favorite cards in the deck, just because you can protect your setup so well, and it guarantees that whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. Also note, hi guys, I got the binder again. And also, too, over the weekend, we picked up some of the new Vanguard set. So we got a lot of the set 2 cards. Anybody's interested? You know, a bunch of Silent Toms, and you got SP Soul Savers. Or actually, the new SPs are really nice, guys, because they have like the creature is uplifted from the card, so it looks like it's embrailed over the card. So actually, we can actually feel the card's picture image. So the monster actually has like a frame around it. It's actually really cool. I like that. And a lot of the supers rares we picked up. You know, some of the Spike Brothers, Spike Brothers and the Bermuda Triangle, the new one, and then some of the new Oracle Think Tank stuff. And a note thing too about the new rares, a lot of the rares have a SP print from set 1. So they all look like that hollow, kind of like sideways line. It's actually pretty cool. But I picked a few of that, and if any of you guys are interested, on Wednesday at Frankincense, I will have the new Vanguard Set 2 product. Boxes are going to be like $60, so if anybody's interested. And I will be buying this, guys. I do buy a lot of Vanguard when the set's out. So if you guys have any questions, comments, please subscribe, guys. You know, I know I've lost a few of you over time. Again, I apologize because it's what the format is right now. There's nothing really we can do. You know, this is kind of what we're led into. I do want to go over another deck in the following week. It's going to be in sectors, but I'll go over that at another point in time. Also, guys, too, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Joe Franzo. He was one of the few that topped with me that I know. Robert Boyajian, myself, my friend Jaime, my friend Ryan, pretty much all 5 of us that I know, all topped 8 the event. And in top 8, it was 5 Dino Rabbit and 3 Wind Up. So, I mean, hopefully, guys, that's a kind of sign where the format's going. Don't feel discouraged. If you guys have questions, you know, guys, please write them in. That's the point. But again, I want to make sure to, you know, remind you guys again, give a big shout out to Joe Franzo. He topped with wind-ups. I'm actually going to have a link for his channel in the bottom below and in the quotations. So like I said, check him out. You know, he really could use the love, guys. He needs to get the subscribers up. He's one of the good players in Cali, and I play with him consistently in regionals and out, and I know for a fact that he actually knows the stuff just as much as I do. You know, if not even better. So, if anything, guys, this is PN Collector, signing out.